Phone?
Phone?
The only home we know is both.
Phone.
Hey guys! I'm going fishing.
Yeah, it's Tiger from Brady Bunch.
And cue Squished Kid.
No!
Oh, it's
Stop
bragging!
Jimmy! Jimmy, come here. You could have been killed. You know better.
I know.
Do a better
No.
job next time.
You
Hit
haven't
the car.
learned
We could
the
use the
see
insurance
and
money.
be seen traffic safety rules that they taught you in school.
I learned them, but...
No. If you had, you wouldn't have run out in front of the car like
Shamed
that.
us!
But...
No buts.
No
If that
fishing
car
for
had
you.
hit you,
Notice he even
you
managed to
wouldn't be
blame
able
it
to go
on
fishing
school.
tomorrow. Or ever. You could have been killed. You're not responsible.
And neither am I. It's those darn schools. The schools are responsible.
You know, they told us when they opened all these schools that they would raise our children
I
for
am
us.
too responsible.
And they have failed.
I just
You know who
forgot.
this guy looks like?
I know the
He
C
looks
and
like
BC rules.
the crewman with the melted face
Jamie,
in
wash your
Arena, the
hands.
episode
Time
of
to
Star
eat.
Trek with the Gorns.
Okay, Mom, coming.
He looks like the guy they found in the wreckage. Just saying. He doesn't look like a dummy.
After his face melted.
Okay, that's
Wait a
creepy.
minute.
Well,
You mean
Jimmy
Russ?
says he knows the safety rules. I wonder if he really does.
Oh crap, it's ready!
Jimmy, turn off the light and go to sleep.
Okay, Dad.
His father is so loving.
Good night, fishing pole.
I know
Man,
the
this kid is
rules.
such a pain in the ass.
See means it must
Okay,
see
seriously.
every
Socks
car
on,
coming
dude.
towards
He's
me.
going to bed with socks on, wearing
BC
pajamas, and
means
his
that
room
I
is
must
clean.
See every driver
Really?
This is a
to be
lie.
sure he sees me. See and be
Jimmy.
seen. See and be seen.
Jimmy.
See and be seen.
Jimmy. Jimmy.
You're dead
His
now.
next job was as a voice in the Peanuts special.
That is one of the creepiest things I have ever seen. I'm sorry, it really is.
Oh god, there's another one.
Poor dog!
We're surrounded.
Do they really have to give the car a mustache?
Don't
Seriously.
be frightened. We are your friends.
Brings a new meaning to mustache ride.
We just want to be sure
Uh-oh.
that you really
you
learn
think the dog
the
has
C and
misbehaved
B
too, and
scene
that's why he has to learn
traffic
the three
safety
Cs?
rules in school.
I did, Mr. Carr.
But he forgot them.
And it's all about shaming the kids, seriously.
When they make a mistake, they say they forgot. When they never knew them in the
No wonder there's
first
entire
place.
generations of us that are like mentally
In
warped from
my
this kind of
time,
stuff.
I've seen hundreds of boys just
I say
like
kill
him.
them all!
So have I. In my
Get off
time,
my lawn!
most young boys and girls are good.
And I've
They
killed them
know
all!
what responsibility means. Give Jimmy
Funny
a
how
chance.
none of the cars are female.
He
They're all
shouldn't
crotchety
be
old men.
allowed out of the house.
Gentlemen, gentlemen. Jimmy says he knows the C and B scene traffic
That's
safety
not a
rules.
cookie sifter on that
Give
car.
him a
it's kid
chance.
sifter.
Let's see if he really does. Jimmy?
Well, make sure to see and be seen when you cross with a green light. Make sure to see any oncoming car. Then you know you can be seen by the driver.
That only matters if the driver
Not
actually
always,
cares about
Jimmy.
squishing small children.
You and your young friends are not very tall yet. And it can be
And
very
he can invite
hard
you into
for
his
a
car
driver
if he
to
has
see
candy.
you. When you step down into the street, you can
Okay, seriously, if this
almost
ends with the
disappear,
cars offering the kid candy,
or even disappear completely.
It's all a trick. It's all a trick by a child molester.
Do you understand that, Jimmy?
Oh, yes, Mr. Carr. Now I really know
Under
why
the
it's important
tires.
to be seen.
Good. Good.
This kid is about as good an
What
actor
else
as Jake
can
Lloyd.
you tell us about the see and
At least
be
these kids have an
seen
excuse.
rules?
I
It's
think
like
the
he's
dog
a
is
little
actually...
I always
I think
make
the dog
sure
is
to
actually
see
the better
any
actor out of
hidden
the two.
car and to be seen by the driver.
What do you mean by a hidden car?
You know, one car that is hidden behind another car.
You
It's
didn't
like what
today,
happened
little
to
boy.
Susie and
That's
her
why you're having this
friend.
nightmare.
They saw the driver of the small truck, and he saw them and
Okay,
stopped.
seriously, that's a school bus?
So the girls started across,
I call no
watching
way.
to see if other
a
cars
school bus
might be
driver?
coming. And
Yeah, he's
sure
like,
enough, they saw another car.
That's
I
a
call
terrible
BS.
actor, dude.
They
I
saw
call
the
BS.
Trick
driver,
those kids.
but she didn't see them. At least not until the very last second.
And then Peppermint Patty said,
Excellent. Jimmy seems to know. But he forgets. He is in trouble for running into the street.
Pure.
I did
I
forget
blame the child
just
molester
that
for not having
one
the red blinking
time.
lights on his
That
school bus.
one time could have been your first and last time.
Oh, yes, I know. One day, some of us were playing, and I almost ran into the street.
I think that dog was just on the tire.
I saw the car and stopped right where
Maybe
I
that's
was.
what made all the
But
cars
the
talk. The
driver
dog pissed on the
didn't
tires
see
so many
me.
times
He kept
that it
right
like warped
on
the cars.
going.
It became such cute dog urine.
Perhaps Jimmy was in the driver's blind spot.
Blind spot?
Ha!
Yes,
And
because we
that's
know
how it
that
is my
blind
whole
spots.
life.
A
We
blind
know the blind spots are in the
spot
front of
is.
cars. Yeah, that's
A
how that
blind
works.
spot is where someone can't see?
That's true.
Let me explain, Jimmy. Every passenger car makes blind spots for the driver. The driver can see you here through the windshield, but not here where a post blocks the view. The driver can see you here through his rearview mirror,
Of course,
But
he's already
not
passed
here,
her by that point, so it's
where
okay.
the rear post cuts off the view.
Now I understand about blind spots.
All right, Jimmy. Is that
You still look so
all
confused.
You know?
Oh, I know more.
Then get
We have
on
to
with
figure,
it.
I mean, if he's dreaming about talking cars that look like that,
If you're crossing
what's the kid
a
on?
street with a
Seriously.
green light, be very careful if cars are making left turns.
Well, this is before Ritalin, so I'm not sure.
Sometimes drivers
Maybe he
don't
took one of his
see
mom's
you.
Valiums.
There you go.
I find it a little bit disturbing how all of the little girls in the film are wearing like these super mini dresses.
And he's wearing sunglasses. Nice disguise.
Yeah, I think the director had a
Always
little
be
bit of a
sure
weird fetish
you're
going on.
seen before you walk in front of a car.
Very good. No. This boy forgets. He could be
I still say the dog is the better actor.
Do you ever lag behind the
so
group?
much.
Well, only once.
Where's car when you need them?
Seriously, if I dreamed about cars that looked like that, it would qualify as a nightmare, not a life lesson.
Looks like
I
something
saw
left
the
over
car
from HR Puffin
and
stuff.
the driver. I saw his eyes.
They were filled with rage.
I could see that he saw me.
And I could tell that he wanted nothing more than to depress the gas pedal and make me into pavement pizza.
Of course, always try not to be a straggler, because you can be seen better when you are part of a large group.
Yes, it's always better when you're one with the flap.
But what about
Especially when there's only like
bad
5
weather
kids in the entire town, apparently.
at night?
Well, we always make sure to be extra careful to see in bad weather and to be sure to be seen. When it rains, use one of those plastic umbrellas you can see through, so you don't have a blind
But you will
spot.
look like a total geek.
And aren't
At
those the
night,
kinds that like spring a leak like
we always wear
constantly?
something white. White makes it easier for a driver to see you. Susie has a jacket that shines in the dark.
She's a witch.
Ooh, she has
What's up?
reflectors.
I must say, I
think this movie's
am
racist.
impressed. Jimmy
You think?
really knows the see and be seen traffic safety rules.
God, that thing's
agree.
creepy looking.
But he doesn't remember.
Oh, but I do. I
But his
will
dog
remember
does
the
not,
see
so we
and
give him
be
a
seen
fail.
rules.
Oh no, he'll remember this because this has
I
to be like the
believe
most
Jimmy
screwed up
should have
nightmare
another
I've ever
chance.
seen a kid have.
Jimmy,
Yes, sir?
This is
do
why
you
his dog
promise to
constantly
remember
chases cars.
the
And I don't
see
blame him.
and be seen traffic safety rules?
And you promise to
You know, it
practice
does kind of put
them
the whole dog
every
chasing cars
day
thing into
of your
perspective,
life?
doesn't it?
Because the dogs can see the face
Do
too.
you?
Oh, yes, sir. I do, I do, I do, I do, I
The dog senses the sheer absolute creepiness.
Jimmy.
That's why all those models cars had to be put down.
Dad.
It's a beautiful morning.
That was my little disappointment.
Oh, Dad. Those see
We're
and
still not
be
going
seen
fishing because you
rules.
don't know anything.
Oh.
Have
And
you,
look, no Nintendo,
Have you been
no
thinking about those
iPad,
see
no
and be
computer.
seen
God, what
rules?
did kids used to
All
do?
night long, Dad.
You
Get
have?
hit by cars.
Really?
Honest.
All right.
Stare at paintings of cowboys with
Let's hear them.
cows. There you
Okay,
go.
Dad.
Cowboys with real
Look
cows!
for cars behind the one car you see. Drivers sometimes have trouble seeing little kids. To be sure you're seen, look right at the driver's eyes.
That doesn't work. That does not work if the driver is
You're
drunk.
not in the driver's blind
And
spot.
how often can you actually see the driver anyway?
You're always safer in a
3
group.
hours long.
Don't be a straggler.
Ooh,
Be
look,
extra careful in
shiny!
bad weather and at night.
Jimmy, that's just great. You know, a responsible young man like you deserves a fishing
God, that
trip.
guy comes across as a pedophile.
Boy. Can
He
Chip
really
go
does.
too?
Of course.
You still have to come to my puzzle basement, though, son.
Okay, everybody, hop in.
With the shag carpeting and the boom chicka wow wow music.
Stage fright. Miss those.
More correctly, 2-part seatbelt.
Hey, mister,
Wow, really?
you forgot to fasten your
Wow.
shoulder harness
Totally,
and your seatbelt.
Totally inefficient.
So I did.
Well, it was the 70s.
I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
Who said that?
Maybe it was the car, Dad.
Now that's ridiculous. Who ever heard of a talking car?
Creepy! Creepy!
No soup, no my head.
Seriously though, if the car actually like spoke to the father, you could bet that he would go after it with a hatchet. I'm sorry.
And there we go.
You get points for finding something so incredibly creepy.
Okay, I'm going to blow your mind now. Do you know who that kid was?
I'm
You know
not
who
sure
he
I
was?
actually want to know.
He looks
was-
somewhat familiar.
He was the kid who played Chris Partridge in the Partridge Family.
Oh.
Brian Forster.
Yeah, I would have had to have actually watched the Partridge Family to recognize that, so... eh.
I did not recognize him at first, but that's who he is. He's young Chris Partridge.
Did his acting ever improve?
What?
Not
He
really.
didn't do a whole lot. He did voice acting after this.
Oh.
A lot of Partridge stuff. He's in Goober and the Ghost Changers as Chris Partridge.
Oh, so he did improve.
Did some Fred Flintstone.
Seriously, my cat has like spent all day trying to like climb the walls. Seriously. All day she's been doing this. She was doing it this morning, she's doing it now, she's driving me crazy.
She is bored.
Come here, cat. I don't
She's
know.
literally climbing the walls.
Yeah, if you were paying attention in the background a minute ago, she was like stretched out with like her paws all the way up the wall making like scratching noises. That's not good. That's not good at all. No, it's not. Don't do it.
But I'm going to dominate the walls. They will not oppress me.
Angry kitty. As I said, angry kitty. Oh well.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was
That was
all
creepy.
kind of not
I mean,
right,
I
but
just
that's okay.
stumbled across it. I
Seriously,
really wasn't-
seriously. If I have nightmares about that, I will get you back somehow.
Somehow.
I don't know how yet, but somehow. Ugh.
That's how. I mean, it really looked like Speed Buggy or Wonder Bug from HR Puffin stuff or something, only badly animated.
And like just really, really disturbing.
Or
Yes.
the car at the end of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, between the disturbing and, you know, the kind of like pedophilia tones there at the end was just, yeah.
Make sure Lee Harvey Oswald can see you.
I didn't even watch the whole thing when I first found it. I got to the animated, like first animated bit with the car. And I'm like, okay, yep, this is it. This is
When
good
that's
for
it.
us.
I'm sold.
Yeah,
This is good.
more correctly, this is bad, goes in the queue.
Yep. It's disturbing. It's weird. Yes.
Yes, its disturbing quotient is sufficiently high to qualify it for CFTP attention.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Well, that was Russ's offering for this evening. Mark, you had something for us as well?
It's mobsters versus the FBI.
Mobsters versus the FBI.
I only saw just enough of it to say, oh yeah. Totally.
Ooh.
Mobsters versus
Missed out.
the FBI, a training film about illegal gambling.
Seriously?
A dramatized training film where criminals use
Nice.
storefronts and telephones to cover up illegal gambling operations. And it demonstrates how police set up stakeouts for undercover operations to stop bookmaking, numbers running operations, off-track betting on horse races, and betting on other sporting events, dice games, and other types of illegal gambling.
Well, this sounds
Okay.
fascinating and educational. Let's look this up. Monsters, yeah.
The FBI.
Indeed. Monsters versus the FBI. All right.
1960s illegal gambling training film
Oh, boy.
by Bright Enlightenment. Thank you, Bright Enlightenment, for posting such a frightening film. Or a very educational film, depending on the content.
Either way.
A very dated film, I'm sure.
A film, in fact, probably. A film.
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 A film, yes.
Film. That's what shorts were. They were films.
Well, let's fill them full of lead and see what these monsters do.
Yeah, see.
Want me to do the countdown again?
Indeed, let us do the countdown.
5, 4,
4.
3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year!
Justice in departments.
The FBI.
Illegal gambling, numbers, dice, bookmaking, how to.
This is a businessman. His business is organized crime. His products include gambling, narcotics, vice, loan sharking.
Okay, seriously, what was the thing with the cigar? Seriously.
Sometimes a cigar is
Illegal
just a
gambling
penis.
brings in his biggest
I mean a
profits.
cigar.
Working capital to finance other
He's
criminal
like a Batman villain.
Bribery and corruption of public officials, including some police officers, almost always accompany large-scale illegal gambling. The law enforcement officer must avoid any such
Let me have my fingerprints all over
Besides
these
corrupting
bills.
the community he is sworn to protect, involvement puts him in personal jeopardy from local statutes and from the Organized Crime Control Act of 1970.
Hey, he has a mini
This
TV.
provides federal penalties for public
Money,
officials
money, money,
who conspire
money.
to obstruct enforcement of
Money.
local laws against gambling. Besides
This is the
protection,
organized part of
crime
organized
provides
crime.
layoff service for bookmakers and numbers operators, two of the largest.
Yes,
illegal
because anyone who was
gambling
doing illegal business would, of course, be dressed in a
call
nice suit
comes
with a
from the
carnation
office of a numbers
and
operator.
a little handkerchief
The
in his
office
lapel.
manager may be
And a
called
ginormous
controller,
cigar.
the office a drop, check.
I certainly would be.
House, the clerk's inside men, varying with the locality. Here, numbers bets are received and tallied.
And depth
necessary
of being
records
inside.
kept. Numbers operations take bets on number groups, usually 3, in a given order.
Otherwise known as
Digits
a
are determined
lottery.
by drawing, as in policy and bolita, or by daily published figures such as pari-mutuel payoffs, treasury balances.
Ah, the
or
days
stock
before
exchange
computers,
actions.
or even calculators.
A lookout guards the outer.
Yeah, I
door
love
to
that
the
long-haired
number
hippie
office.
there on the adding
But
machine.
this and the other elaborate security precautions are no match for good police work. A stakeout team has had the building which houses the numbers office under visual observation. Binoculars
Seriously,
pick up
now if you ran
significant
across anyone
details
with
of visitors
binoculars
their
and
cars.
a telescope looking out a window, you
A
would then,
telephoto
you know,
camera
proceed to
records
call
any
the police to
suspicious
have them
activity.
arrested.
To be later
Not
Well, I guess
me,
that's
I'd
a
be
camera,
looking up at the
but,
window that they were looking at to
From
see if
this
I could see the
command
naked
post,
girl, too.
The officer in charge maintains radio contact with other police units, prepared to coordinate the
But
coming
they
raid
learn
with
too
citywide
late that they've
arrests
been
of
watching the
number
wrong
salesmen.
building and kill a family of 5
Number
in the
salesman
wrong raid.
is usually called a writer. He may work
And
on
then they
a
get off
route
scot-free.
or from a fixed place of business.
Cigarettes and alcohol. Get your cigarettes
Most
and
of the bets are
alcohol.
small, but the day's total will be surprisingly large. The marker
My hovercraft
is
is full of
three-digit
eels.
number and the amount bet. Markers are prepared for secure delivery to the pickup man or runner.
This is kind of like
Secure delivery is a box of Pall Malls.
They cannot long remain unknown to the police.
it's got to be good for something, I guess.
Now that's something you don't see every day. A cigarette
The
machine.
rider pays off his few lucky winners.
Recycling.
The payoff on a straight 3-number bet runs from 400
Lucky strike
to
winners.
600 to 1. Smaller odds are paid on cut numbers, those heavily played because of superstition or other reasons. Correct odds should be 999 to 1. This differential leaves a small percentage for the rider.
It's kind of a how-to
Huge
guide if you
profits
want
for the
to,
numbers
run a
operation.
gambling
The
ring, right?
temporarily happy
Well, a
winner
really
is
bad
not
gambling
the
ring.
target.
Now they just
The
call this kind of
stakeout
thing
waits
the
for
lottery.
bigger gain. The runner
Except
works
the
for
odds are
office
actually
or
worse.
bank that owns the numbers operation. He controls
totally
as many
legal.
riders as he can handle.
True, true.
Makes his pickup like an ordinary customer to avoid detection.
He paid, what,
This time it
45
doesn't work.
cents for that box of cigarettes?
Departure is noted, and the command
Well, it was
post
gambling
in the
was
numbers
cheap back
office
then.
is alerted for his arrival.
The irony is, the cigarette vending machine is right outside the guy's
The runner
cigarette
reaches
shop.
the
It just
innocent
seems like
seeming
a
outer
bad
door
business
of the
decision
numbers
to me.
office.
Well, maybe
The
the
lookout
cigarette
signal
machine has a
clears him
surcharge
to
of
the
5
secured door
cents.
inside.
Maybe he like bought a used
Unit
one and just
5,
fills it up
take
with
a
his
look
own
out at
stuff
the
and then
plan.
overcharges.
Oh, that'd be clever then. Parked 75 cents all day.
It is the last free action the lookout will make.
Wish I
for
could
some
pay that.
I'm still trying to figure out if that's a cop car or if they're just like kidnapping him.
The heavy
Yes.
door
It's
with
the
its alarm
city,
system is open
where even
for
the
a
criminals get
bringing in
kidnapped.
the last of the day's bets. The cash has probably been routed separately to another location called the bank, headquarters, or clearinghouse. The clerks have run up the totals, and the controller is ready to make any necessary
This place
layoffs
really
on
needs a
heavily
motivational
played numbers
poster.
through an agency
Or
of
6 or
organized
8.
crime.
Maybe a window?
A pari-mutuel
Haunted plant would be
payoff
nice.
at a distant track.
How about a
determines the
sign
final
talking
digit
about
of
the
the winning
federal
number.
employment guidelines and minimum wage?
Unit 3, lookout neutralized. Move on in.
The answer is 42.
Breaker, breaker, 1-9. Breaker, breaker, 1-9. 10-4, good buddy.
Everybody out! Raid! This is a raid!
It's really lightly armed for a raid.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ah! Run! Grab the money and run!
Quick, eat it! Eat the paper!
Seriously, they wouldn't have any better place to put it other than to throw it out the window? Really?
Keystone cops could do a better job of clearing the scene than these guys.
Judicial approval.
Seriously,
may
a well-oiled
authorize immediate
organization
entry
would have
without
had
waiting for
everything
permission.
destroyed in the first 3
Know what
minutes
method of
before they
entry is
even got in.
authorized
Or
in your
less.
case.
And all they needed was, toss
All
everything in the
civilians
barrel,
proceed with
cover it in
pre-planned
gasoline, light it on
There
fire,
is no
you're good to
longer
go.
danger of premature tip-off.
How about something to bar the door
Small
with so
fry
they
of
can
the
get it
numbers
done in
operation
time?
are
Yeah, that
arrested.
too.
Yeah, this is before they started working
With
tactics
the subjects
against
from
the
the numbers
police.
office on
Yeah.
their way.
Raids were a new
That company
concept.
done.
Collecting, identifying, and preserving the evidence. Some of it partially burned, but salvageable by good laboratory work.
Which means that they did
The
not douse it
patrolman
in
guarding the
gasoline
rear
because it
exit during the
still
raid
would have been
brings in the
burning.
important records that
They
literally
salvage what they
challenge
can, and then they go make a bet at the other
Usable
bookie on the other
evidence
side of
results from
town
good
and make
police
millions.
I love
Planning
how
the
they're
raid
taking
for
the
maximum
hot
evidence
ashes out and putting them in
and
a
for
cardboard
swift entry to
shoebox.
prevent its
Oh,
destruction.
yes.
Effective, uncompromising law enforcement can make numbers operations increasingly hazardous and unprofitable. Illegal dice or card games and gambling casinos are often linked with organized crime and the corruption which is its trademark. Gaming may be found in the plush, legalized gambling casinos of Las Vegas. It may also be found in illegal floating dice games. Often
Yes,
set up
there
in
is
hotel
gambling in Las
rooms
Vegas.
for their one-night stand.
No.
The equipment can be
Shocking,
transported
I
in
know.
a suitcase. Every part of it, from the layout to the dice, is suspect. So are the operator and his assistant. Some players are regulars, informed of the floating location. Many are transients, looking for action, and are easy to cheat safely. To find these marks, the operator uses steerers, taxi drivers, bartenders, bellmen. This driver is kept posted on the game location and will get a fee or percentage for the apparently half-drunk,
That is a
well-heeled sucker he
fantastic
brings to the
tie.
scene of the action. A Confederate keeps
I
watch in
think it's
separate
a
room,
time
ready to
paradox
signal
tie.
an alarm.
Because after he gets
It may
shot in the
also
chest,
double as
that will be the
strong-arm
big
man
stain
in
that
case a
you'll
loser
have.
starts
But
trouble.
that's yet to come.
It is to the lookout's room that the steerer has sent his passenger. To the cold and experienced eye of the lookout, this half-drunk sucker looks ripe for picking.
Isn't
Gives
most
him
of
the
this
room
pretty
number
much
of the
legal
floating
now?
crap game and signals the operator to expect him. This time they had the wrong sucker, a suddenly sober undercover detective. His concealed mic
The
gets word to
twist!
the team waiting below.
Unit 5, this is T1. The lookout in 514 has an alarm buzzer in the door frame. I'm proceeding to the game in 519. Monitor me and execute the plan when gambling is established.
Unit 5 to all units. Proceed as planned.
Dragnet. The prequel.
Yeah, it's T1. That's going to make another 999 renditions before they turn this Terminator liquid metal.
And then, just as he enters the room, the officer responds, Roger, T1 will wait for gambling before executing the plan.
I just love the fact that it's a hotel room, yet they actually have like a dice table and everything set up in there. Like, no one noticed them hauling that in? Really?
$20. About 20. Take a big 20 there for you. Hey, here we go. Here we go.
Maybe it was a regular feature in hotel rooms back then. I mean, I don't know.
What's the point? What's the point? 10's the point. 10's the point. 10's the point.
Basic combinations, you know, king size bed, coffee maker, roulette table.
If it's on the ground floor, maybe they just, brought it in, through the window.
And notice, the cop is the only one actually holding money in his hand.
That was their entire budget. He had to give it back, though.
Oh, man, look at that impressive force, I tell you.
Dun, dun, dun,
Statutes
dun,
concerning
dun.
players in an
The
illegal
Windjammer
game
Lounge.
vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction.
Only the actor's talent has been changed to protect the innocent.
And I like how the undercover cop moves, towards the back of the room to make sure nobody tries to jump out the windows from the 4th floor.
There's no question anywhere about the arrest of the operator and his confederates. Besides police testimony, the case will depend upon the considerable amount of physical evidence and its nature. It will be carefully identified.
Oh, see, it's collapsible. That's kind of cool. Okay.
Good
Portable dice table. Who knew?
Has put this illegal gambling
Answer
operation
that question.
out of business. Bookmaking is a most profitable enterprise.
Yeah, curse it, it's forward again. Damn it.
Which provides two essential services to the individual bookmaker: laying off his bets and furnishing the information he needs.
They don't actually give him an actual coffee mug. He has to get those little plastic cups in the holder kind of things going on.
Very
Oh,
sexy.
And of course it's black coffee. No creamer for him.
Pretty sure this movie's racist too.
A successful bookmaking operation depends upon rapid relay of odds, line
You
information.
should call the Penguin,
and results.
or the Joker, and get some,
Expert sports
hire some
handicappers
guards
often
off of
employed
him,
by organized
guard his
crime.
stuff.
He's like
Provide
Tobias
analysis
Whale, only
upon
more
which
like
odds
the
are based.
Godfather.
Okay, I seriously wonder if the decorative gun on top of his desk, on the little stand, I wonder if it's functional and or loaded.
Long-distance phone to get this information, fast and frequently. He
Probably a
also makes
lighter.
out-of-town calls to the bankers of organized crime to lay off his bets and keep the book in balance. So that these incriminating toll calls are not charged to the apartment he rents for a few hours each day, he has attached to the telephone an electronic device, the blue box.
Like a
all
TARDIS.
invasive devices, it violates telephone company regulations.
Because it's bigger on the
The
inside!
blue box circuitry permits the user to make
Must be an
toll-free,
inside job then.
unrecorded and untraceable calls wherever direct distance dialing is available.
Good luck! I'm
Through the
hiding
blue box
behind
phone,
7
bookmaker gets the
proxies!
latest point spreads on the
Ooh.
college games he is booking. On football or basketball, the bettor usually wagers $11 on a pick'em basis to win 10. Point
Betting on
spreads
major
reflect the
sports?
handicapper
No.
estimate of the competing teams. Baseball bets are usually placed at varying odds, based upon the pitchers for the day, as well as the team record. To receive the
Yeah,
income
hello,
of
how can I help you?
bettors
Hello,
on
hello.
which his livelihood depends, the bookmaker relies on several devices, which may keep his location or private phone secret.
Hello, you
One
have
is the
reached Pizza
backstrap,
Pizza.
a
What would you
simple
like to
circuit
order today?
which connects the bookmaker's unauthorized extension to an authorized and listed telephone at a nearby but separate and clean location. Another way to prevent his incoming calls being traced,
Not a dirty one like a dorm room,
revealed, is by installing a black box, a somewhat more complex electronic device. It absorbs the electrical
This
impulses
is back in
on
the day when there
incoming
was
calls,
only one
so that they
telephone
do
company.
not record at the telephone company's central billing equipment.
Ironically, the black box is
This
actually
bookmaker,
orange.
however, uses the more
You know,
sophisticated
it really makes you wonder
cheese
exactly
box
what you could
to
accomplish with
conceal
just
his
like
location
an
and
iPhone.
private telephone number. He maintains a private phone elsewhere than the apartment from which he works,
Jeez, Gromit!
Another box!
He keeps
Cheese
an
for
open
the
line
rats.
from
There
his
you
apartment
go.
to this phone at
So many
prearranged hours known
boxes.
to his
This
customers.
is getting complicated.
They have a different number to call, connecting them with still another phone, which may be in an empty room or other clean location.
I work in a cheese box. I don't see what the big
This
deal
call
is.
is switched through the cheese box to the bookmaker's private phone, also
It
in
really
a
does
clean
make you
location.
kind of think of the Matrix, though, doesn't it?
Then, during the hours that he monitors this phone from his apartment, he can converse with the customer, who has called an entirely different number to reach him. Other elements in the elaborate screen of deception may be markers or records on instantly
Include this
disposable
fake
water-soluble
mustache.
or flash paper.
What's with
But
the
even
picture of the
tightest screen will not
Lovecraftian
shield
hell
against
beast,
vigorous
on
and
the wall
uncompromising
there?
police work. Informants are a prime source for discovery of illegal gambling.
I lost $10 because I betted on my team and I lost. So I want you to arrest that
Disgruntled employees.
cruel man. He took $10 away from me and didn't pay me any money back.
Discovered where
Now I can't afford any more hair dye.
are going.
$10 was a lot of money back then.
She gives the detectives the accommodation number that she knows her
You could
husband
park for like
uses
2
to
weeks.
make wagers. Even then, it is not easy to find the bookmaker's actual location. The telephone company will aid in tracing it through the maze of electronic evasion. Having located the apartment that the bookmaker works from a few hours each day, they keep it under surveillance. They learn the daily routine and plan for a legal yet fast entry when the action is heaviest, evidence most plentiful. The bookmaker is off the cheese box open line. With all bets in for that day, he finds that to balance his book and ensure a profit, he must
I'm going to
lay
have to
off
pray
some
to
heavily played teams.
Nyarlathotep in a few minutes here.
It is time to call
See, I
the
thought that was a picture of Nuffle, the god of dice rolling.
crime. Layoff is big business.
I can see that.
Without it, few bookmakers could operate. His heavy work over, he waits expectantly for delivery of his daily sandwich.
His sandwich was his undoing.
A sandwich of doom and justice and mayo.
Sounds pretty heavy. A little light on the mayo. That's a little too much.
Information leads to investigation. Investigation to surveillance.
Doesn't he look
to
before he
apprehension.
goes in the...
It pays off.
He's not a very
Armed
good
with a
critic.
warrant,
He opens
police
the
plan their
door.
raid when the maximum
See, I can't
evidence
imagine that all these raids actually go this well for the cops. They just walk in, psh, okay, we're done, and we walk out.
There is no
This is it.
cooperation from the bookmaker, but their continuing investigation
It's like,
will uncover
how could you
other
possibly ever find me?
the unauthorized electronic equipment, the testimony of the not-so-innocent owners of the apartment. They find the water-soluble paper on which the bets were written. And a little black notebook listing the
Because
bookmaker's
it's paper,
layoff
and that makes it
and line
water
odd
soluble.
sources. They lead directly to organized crime. Without organized crime, big numbers lay off bets, protect gaming, and bribe some officials and police officers.
Speaking of a guy who
illegal
obviously loves his
gambling could be
sandwiches.
stopped.
2 gentlemen from the FBI to see you, sir.
You, the officer.
Ah, yes,
must
it's
be
time
aware
for my
of the
monthly
connection
bribe of
between
you.
illegal gambling and organized crime. Only honest, aware, and informed law enforcement officers can bring the organized criminal before the bar of
Like
justice.
me.
Only incorruptible, impartial,
I'm
and
giving you my Care Bear stare of justice.
can make him pay for his crime.
Yeah, I've just been sitting here all day. What are you bothering me for?
Be informed on the major types of illegal gambling, their MOs, and the applicable gambling statutes in your
Their lousy mustaches.
You must be trained in effective
I'm just gonna take
techniques
this.
to discover the
Oh my God, look at her take her shirt off. Oh, no, oh boy, they're great.
Observation and investigation. To follow the operation as close to the top as possible. To plan the arrests so as to
All the way
acquire
to
and
God.
preserve the necessary evidence for conviction.
Leave Nuffle alone.
Presented by the FBI.
We're watching you.
Oh, and by the way, don't copy this film, okay? Because we're the FBI.
Oops.
That's crap.
I don't remember what that's from anymore, but...
Pause. Stop.
That's from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah.
Henrietta Pussycat.
Oh, right,
Henrietta
that's who it was.
Pussycat.
I found that show incredibly disturbing.
It was, kind of.
Lady Elaine
Because
was
he always put on the exact same sweater.
I
And he always talked so
liked it
nice.
okay. I always thought, though, that, like, Lady Elaine was kind of like, you know, and she probably was. She was a witch, which is a nice way of, I guess she probably liked other ladies. Or not Lady Elaine.
Either that or that was his...
What?
Either that or that was Mr. Rogers' ex-wife.
I didn't think he had an ex-wife.
I don't think he did either, but you have to admit it's a
Ex-lover.
decent theory.
Ex-lover. That might work.
Jilted ex-girlfriend.
Lady Elaine was a total lesbian. You just know she was. Playing with that boomerang, you know.
Didn't she have
There's a little euphemism there, I'm just saying. Lived in the merry-go-round. She lived in the merry-go-round, you know.
I thought it was a library merry-go-round thing. It's always fun.
Something like that. That show, as I
It
said,
had the
that show was
rainbow-colored
creepy,
pillars.
start to finish.
Okay.
Well, you know,
Okay,
if you look back on it with, you know, the eyes of today, it's like, what were they on?
Well, it's not like
Seriously.
HR Puffin stuff. That's seriously WTF territory right there.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've seen that, and you're making me very grateful.
I've seen enough of it to know that the people who made it and the people who probably watched it other than kids were all on heavy, heavy drugs. It is effed up.
Either that or they, you know, immediately went and checked themselves into the local psych ward.
Well, there was total drugs involved with Sid Murray Croft. There's no way there couldn't have been. Though I did like Lost Saucer and Land Lost. Faro Space Nuts. Just saying.
Yeah. Speaking of space nuts, let's watch Teenicide.
Teenicide!
Master of transitions.
Sergeant Bruce reporting.
Hello, sir.
Well, that was brief.
Teenicide!
This is the unit of education.
Right. If it involves teenagers, it's probably more penicide than teenicide.
Produced for Lumberbin's Mutual Casualty Company by Traffic Safety Films Incorporated with the technical assistance of the Los Angeles Police Department.
And right after that, lumber. You better stop, kid. I know you're a teen. I'm gonna get you to it.
At absolutely breakneck speed.
What the hell's the matter with you, kid?
Pull
You
over,
trying to commit
kids!
teenicide?
Yeah, officer, what is it, huh? Yeah, what is it, huh? You talking to me, huh? Well, yeah, what is it?
Why aren't you saying anything?
All we would have to do is wait until the police officer got off the motorcycle, and then like back up, hit the motorcycle to knock it over, and then floor
It's
it.
just about as easy to fill out a dead body report as it is a traffic ticket. And in many cases, the violation is the same. Speed.
Oh,
I've
usually
DOA?
this food loans
figures
is
for a
speed.
report.
Here you
They
go,
start
death
with level
rate.
1 up, and then they go to
It's
speed.
important to you.
Death
Look at
rate,
these
25
changes in the motor
years.
vehicle death rate of our population per 100,000 for the past 25 years. Between the ages of 5 and 14,
You kind of wonder what the guy's actually saying.
37% drop.
Because
There you go.
between the ages of 5 and 14,
25 and
children
44,
drove less.
a 25%
So they
went down.
died fewer.
But get this.
15 to
In the
24, they
15
drove
to
more, so more of
24 year
them
group,
died.
The increase was more than 85%.
85%! Madness!
Those are the actual figures from the ages 15 to 24. An increase in deaths per 100,000 of 86%. Let's face it, a car in the hands of some teenagers today
So much
produces
death.
a serious problem. So serious has this problem become that we have a new word in our language.
Teenicide!
It's teenicide. A noun
word didn't
meaning
last long, did
death
it?
caused by an automobile driver under 20 years of age.
Teenicide.
They go out and they drive cars, and then they do horrendously stupid things like wrap around telephone poles and hit other vehicles, and they end up dead.
Let's talk about teenicide. Let's see
That would actually make more
what can
sense,
be done
especially
about
when you look at all those wrecked cars, and if you take a modern car and you do the same thing to it, it like crumples into nothing. Versus those were like just like the engine compartment was crumpled. What?
He is definitely in better
They
physical
died? Really?
condition than the person between 40 and 50.
These teens are running in a race, but they're really thinking
Because
about
of this,
banging their
he could be a
girlfriends
better
in the
driver.
backseat of a car
He's
parked up
better,
in lovers'
can react more quickly.
But they have so much energy and they have to
First.
get ready by running really fast.
The teenager is at the time of his life when he learns the quickest and retains the most. He's at a
Wow,
learning curve.
fancy schmancy drive simulation. There you go.
And make him a safe driver. Not only now, but for the rest of his life. With ability, both mental and physical, at its peak at this period, something must be radically
I'm
wrong.
going to turn this
When the
little wheel
teenager
here,
is not the best driver,
and then I'm going
but
to
the
get some
worst.
fire, and then I'm
I
going to
think
do
we
this
know what
with
the
it.
answer is.
Because fire.
It's lack of
We like
experience
fire.
and training. Some teenage drivers
He
get
just
into the
looks at the
family car and learn to
styro, not
drive
behind
by trial and
him.
error.
Damn teen.
Mostly
Look at that
yes.
driving on the grass.
Because frequently they learn from Dad himself. And Dad might not be such a good driver. Others learn from the kid who owns this rattle trap. He points it down the street and lets it go. That's one way of living dangerously, except the chances are you won't live very long.
Damn.
These teenagers are learning driving at school from the engine up. They're learning what makes the car run, and also how to run it, courteously and safely. They're not learning someone else's bad driving habits. They'll quickly realize that respect for the law and the officers who enforce it will save them from the serious
You loved
consequences
it
of a
before.
traffic
Here it is
smash.
again.
They'll learn that the traffic officer is there to protect them.
Oh yes, they're really
If
love
the
the
teenager
traffic.
has excess spirit, this is the place to use it. Here, a crack up, even at top speed, is not too serious.
Remember that same kid again.
But this same sort of enthusiasm has no place on a highway. No matter how clear the teenager's eyes or how quickly he reacts. The shocking statistics prove that. It has been proved that trained drivers have about one-half the accident untrained drivers have. We know from statistics that with proper training, the teenagers will be among this country's better drivers. The solution of
Statistics prove you
teenicide
wrong.
must be through proper driver education. Parents and teachers must act together.
To stop
By so doing,
teenicide.
the teenager will develop good driving habits before he learns the bad ones.
Those are the juvenile delinquent
Teenagers
kids.
can't look to
That's
the older people for examples of good driving. Oldsters are a problem too. But teenagers can, without much effort, wipe out the word
They're not
teenicide
allowed to get near the car.
and become the first generation of good drivers this country has ever had.
My new favorite word.
The end.
Apparently they had a series of these films.
Well, there you go. Teenicide.
Yay! Yay!
Know where Michael Bay came from? Years ago, when he was younger, he starred in TV commercials for Tidy Bowl, and he was a Tidy Bowl man on his little boat. and then he got flushed down a toilet and got covered in shit. And that's why he makes the movies he does today.
And that's Recon.
Okay, wait a minute. Who was that?
That is Michael Bay.
Ah, yeah, that would explain a lot, wouldn't it?
I think somebody took a giant dump on him while he was in the toilet bowl in this little boat, and then flushed him. And he's all covered in shit, and probably had brain damage anyway. And so when he became normal sized again, his brain stayed the size of when he was little in the toilet. But he's still covered in shit. So he's just Michael Bay, and I hate him.
No, please, tell us how you really feel. Don't hold it back.
That might be rude. I don't know. I don't want to go too far.
It's never stopped you before.
Fucking Michael Bay. Pearl Harbor, motherfucker.
And we have highlights.
We do.
Fantastic.
Hey, so Mr. Finley's feelings. Mr. Finley.
Mr. Finley's personal
feelings. I want to find out what they are so I can hurt them.
Okay.
So we can ruthlessly make fun of them and laugh. Yes, we know.
So
let's get started. And I am very sorry for the delay. Cheers to all of you for your patience. Thank you. This wine is mine, but you can have some if you want, if you have some in your own house.
MetLife in sort of phase.
I'm Tom Finley.
If they don't have a choice.
A very important day in my life. You're going to hear me talk quite a lot in this picture, but you won't ever see me. This is where I work. I'm
Thanks for warning me.
in the H.R. Burton factory. Right now, as this big day of mine begins, it's almost 5 and about time for me fooling around with a quiz in a newspaper. Here, take a look over my shoulder.
Slacker.
I like people. Yes. Do I feel
I'm
refreshed,
two-dimensional.
energetic after a good night's sleep? Yes, most of the time. Would I say I was reasonably healthy? Yes, I have headaches, but then nearly everybody does. Am I on good terms with my boss? Yes. Oh, Tom.
You're fired, Mr. Finley!
No, sir. Would you mind very much finishing this report?
Man, his boss must be high as a kite.
Okay, HR.
Don't do drugs, okay?
It'll be on your
You can just work day and night as far as I am concerned because you have no need for a private life. I'm going to go play golf.
Appreciate it.
You enjoy doing that report this evening.
When did you ever appreciate? Hey, Tom.
He thinks his boss is
Don't forget
Napoleon.
poker tonight. Count me out, George.
It's flat top.
HR just unloaded an evening's work on me. Oh, tough luck. See what you're missing? After that, I start through the factory, mad at Burton, mad at missing the poker game.
Everyone is having fun except you.
His family's a pain in the ass because they're all doing better than he is. He has to do his stupid work, and I can't drive.
She's doing homework. She's in just as much of a hell as he is.
16, 24, 42...
Spend all day at work and then spend all evening doing homework.
Yeah, but if she gets the answers wrong, it doesn't matter as much.
Except that, F's that she gets, that then the parents are very, very angry and privileges are lost and much tragedy happens.
She's got pink hair. Who cares?
Thanks. 9, 16,
I'm taking
24,
mine black. Weighs about 100 calories.
100... Millie, how can I work if you keep on talking to me? Besides, my head is splitting.
I'm awfully sorry, dear. We'll all be...
Oh, someone's going to get slapped around tonight.
9, 16, 24, 42, 88...
And that depiction of knitting was rather inaccurate.
Drop that gun, I'll give you...
Why is he trying to work in the living room anyway?
9, 16, 24, 42...
Sterling, are those in pounds?
Give up. Other men have helpful families, not me.
Sorry, Daddy.
Time to you people!
It's gonna shoot himself in the mouth.
When the nuclear family goes bad.
Nobody gives me the least...
I'm going out to Vegas to get some whores!
Or at least the local tavern to find some alcohol.
But then the whores!
Letting people push me
And
around.
then the pod wound up
And he's
someplace
going to run the
else.
red light. And And then here comes the cops.
Suppose he's gonna give me the works.
Looks like
So
Orko
angry,
here.
road rage! Road
Doors, Hal.
rage!
Open the pod bay doors.
What's the charge, Murphy? Reckless driving. I think we can make that stick.
Damn, that's one big ass notebook.
Wow, 5 years in jail for reckless driving?
Well, now she'll be able to get her homework done.
George, Millie told me you'd been
Yeah,
arrested.
at least I don't have those stupid kids here.
Stupid so-and-so of a cop. Listen, I was driving along carefully, as usual, minding my
So, when are we going to get to his feelings?
That sergeant wouldn't even let me...
Oh, how did he back into the... Oh.
He
He's a
seems like a
stunt driver.
reasonable guy, Tom. So you're gonna believe him instead of me.
I thought you were going to spend the evening working at home.
I couldn't get
You
any
have to
peace in that
untalk, Marsha.
My headache was driving me crazy.
Oh, that's better. Thank you. Now I can hear. Stupid kids! I hate you, John!
Oh, no peace at the office. Burton. He just loves messing things up for me. Standing behind that partition all day long. Spying. Thinks he's Napoleon.
He wants the process!
Maybe it's you who thinks.
I've got a Napoleon complex.
Why didn't you tell him you had a date?
If only that was a unicorn.
I think he'd have understood.
Quit picking on me, George. I'm in enough trouble.
Tom, I've known
Why is
you
George
all
only
my
looking
life.
at the guy's crotch?
You're a great guy.
Well, it is
You fly
prison.
off the handle and think people are picking on you when they're not.
Even worse, he's got
What do you mean by
visitation
that?
rights.
Well, even back in school.
And his wife hasn't
Remember
shown
our
up
big
yet.
teacher?
But does he have shower rights?
Start
That's the
that
important.
whole battle axe.
Billy? Yes, Miss Stark. Multiply 5,623,436 by 204,602. Quickly! Hurry up!
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little math problem,
He
too.
wasn't like that.
George Fifth. Yes, Miss Stark. Multiply 3 times 7. Take your time.
Somebody's hot for
7
teacher.
times 3, you mean? Yes, George.
I just want to point out that neither of these two extremes
I don't
are
know,
in
Miss Stark.
any way realistic.
I've been absent. I missed
Yeah, like
all
that
of
guy
it,
with the
George.
bacon hairdo.
21. But let's go over it again in a few minutes.
She couldn't have been more patient.
Okay, maybe I did have the
And
confidence
she had a
of
nice
Ross
rack,
and
too.
Stark
What are you
slightly
thinking,
out of
man?
focus. But there is one person who always had it in for me. Remember our old top sergeant, that slave driver Driscoll? He sure hated my guts.
I ran into Driscoll.
Goddamn Beetle Bailey.
He asked about you. Said you were the best company clerk he'd ever had.
Liar!
For Pete's sake, have I got everybody mixed up? What's wrong, George?
You need
Am I
medication.
sick or something?
Maybe you're making yourself sick.
You just
remember when
have
Mr. Jones
Teenicide on your mind.
last year? Took the doc 6 months to set him straight.
Think I should see a doctor?
Sure, why not? Other people can help too. You know, it's a good idea to talk things out with someone you like and trust.
George, it was swell of you to come all the way down here. I wish I could see things, people, the way you do. Most of the time lately, it's as if the whole darn
Drugs.
world...
Lots of drugs.
Or, kill him and take over his life. That way, he can pretend that he sees things the way that he sees them.
Remove his eyes and implant them in your head.
Yeah, just take those lovely drugs. He's tripping.
Don't worry, Tom. I feel like that myself sometimes.
What do you do then?
Oh, I
When
blow
I
my
drop
top once
acid.
in a while when somebody really does me dirt, but when I feel mad at everybody, when people all look
I heard
it's mostly
edibles.
because I'm mad at myself.
Lots and lots of tiny
Maybe I think I've done
defenseless
something wrong. Maybe I'm feeling I'm not as good as somebody else. When I get to feeling good about myself, why,
then most everybody else looks pretty good too.
I hug myself.
You make it sound easy.
And then I make out.
It isn't easy.
With myself.
You got to keep working at it. But it sure is worth it. Hello there.
When I think about you, I touch myself.
HR himself. George, just
no drugs, okay?
Come on, you won't have to see the
Yeah,
judge
the boss is
until
still
next
high
week.
as a
Everything
kite.
all right now? I must run along. Don't bother coming in tomorrow morning. I'll send for those papers. Bye.
And you're fired.
You can pick up your pay later. You're out.
Say, Tom, don't forget, staff meeting tomorrow at 3.
Well, I'll be...
You've got good friends, mister.
Come on. I'll see you home.
Good paying friends,
That's
if you know
silly.
what I mean.
No. By golly, it's gone. Well, as George and I walked out of that jail together, I began to see things a little
Oh,
straight.
doom!
I'd learned one important lesson anyway. I knew then that a guy
We were
could get
going through the
himself in a whale of a lot
Wolfenstein
of trouble
dungeon.
if he didn't understand what his feelings
Equip
were doing.
exploding ammunition.
I've got plenty more to learn, I know. It's not going to be simple or easy, but I'm sure going to try. Well, now you've seen how things looked to me at the beginning and at the end of this very important day.
I
in my
became
life.
the worst serial killer my
Maybe you
town
had
has
been
ever
like this
known.
yourself. Maybe I seem...
Pre-cable days, we all had TV antennas.
You've heard of me, but I'm not going to tell you my name because then you might be truly afraid of this film.
They don't even say who did the voices. Oh.
Well, that was fun.
That's probably not a bad thing.
Oh my.
If your feelings last for more than 4 hours, see a doctor.
If your feelings put you in jail, you have problems.
If your feelings put you in jail, please seek psychiatric assistance.
And if you have a friend who
Immediately,
has a bacon hairdo.
extensively. Yeah, that too.
If you have a friend with bacon for a head, you
You know,
there's
it was bad enough that he would. You know, why did they have to make the even-tempered one the ginger? Seriously.